I'm Ajan Reginald, CEO of Roquefort Therapeutics, and I've been the lead moderator here today at the Evolution Conference. Yeah, it's been a great conference. You know, it's an outstanding group of peers and speakers and panels, and I think it's quite an unusual opportunity. It's an intimate conference where we can speak freely and speak more deeply and perhaps more thoughtfully about some key problems. And you know, fundamentally, we're all addressing the same problem. We're trying to bring medicines to patients more quickly, more efficiently. And ultimately, if we do that, more patients survive and have better outcomes. So I think what's interesting with a conference like this is there's a diverse audience. We have people from big pharma, from biotechs, from Europe, from the US, from Asia. We're all aligned, we're all joined together with one mission, which is we're trying to improve the outcomes for patients. Yeah, that's great. We've done five conferences together, and it's really interesting. The hardest thing for me is I'm normally in the audience asking what I think are the difficult questions. So trying to get everyone to engage deeply is really interesting. But I think Leah and I did a lot of prep calls. So we talked to all the panels in advance. We asked them to try to push the boundaries, to really ask the questions that they want to ask, that perhaps you can't ask in your own organization or you can't ask at a very public conference. And I think if we all do that, if we really think about the key questions that we want to ask, and also just be probably a bit more open about how we talk about things that haven't gone as well as possible, as well as the things that went well, then we'll actually learn a lot more. So I think trying to create that environment has been what Leah and I have been trying to do, right? We're trying to foster an environment where people are more open to speak, because it's really difficult, right? As you get more and more senior, it's so difficult to find a place where you can have senior conversations and still be very open and not competitive. Yeah, it's been a really interesting and a really good group of speakers. I think we probably did more prep this year than we've done before, and I think that's really helpful. You know, I think the interaction and the chemistry between the panels has been really, really good. And I think if you can foster that, if you can have a real conversation, then I think everyone on the panel gets more from it, but also the audience participates more. And we've had some really great questions from the audience. And I think questions that have made us pause and think, hang on a minute, are we thinking about this correctly? And I think for a group, all of us have 20, 30, 40, 50 years experience, right? But for us to all stop and think, you know, are we thinking about this correctly? Are we framing this correctly? Is super valuable. I mean, that almost never happens. So to be able to do that multiple times over a couple of days is very valuable.